Hello, everybody. We just want to do a quick check-in on Olympic football. We know we got preseason going on for European teams, breaks in North America. We want to talk a little bit of Olympic football just to keep everyone updated, seeing what's going on with that. We want to start off on the men's side as we have four African nations striving to make it out, and two look a little bit better than the others. Let's start off in Group A, where Guinea needs a solid result right now. Right now, they're the only team in Group A with no wins. They've lost 2-1 to New Zealand, then 1-0 to France. A good effort, but weren't able to finish their chances. They would need a big performance against the United States to not only tie them on points, but they would also have to pass them on goal difference. Guinea would have to win that game by at least 2 goals. So they'd have to beat the US +2 to have a chance to make through, and they would need France to defeat New Zealand, which is more likely to happen than not. New Zealand sitting on a -2 on the tournament right now. Guinea not looking impossible, but it is a bit of an improbable ask for them in Group A. Looking at Group B, Morocco, who got a win in their first game, sitting second in their group. Argentina picking up a win as well with Ukraine there. Right now, their matchups are looking interesting. Morocco, in their final game, actually pairs off against Iraq. So if they're able to get a result on Tuesday versus Iraq, they effectively guarantee their section on. They're moving on to the next round in that Olympics football, which I'm looking for. Egypt had been able to get that one and then moving on. I love what they're been able to do. Curious to see what they can go from there. I said Morocco and I swapped with Egypt because Egypt also in Group C are looking good in second place. They have a win and a draw, sitting with 4 points. They have an interesting matchup coming up on Tuesday as well. You see, we have Egypt coming up against the likes of Spain. And this is a game where a draw will do them well. I think where they have to be a little bit mindful is because when we look at Egypt's group, we do have Dominican Republic and Uzbekistan playing. As long as Egypt does not lose by a high margin, they should be fine. Uzbekistan versus Dominican Republic, where easily you can see either team winning that matchup. The winner of that matchup, if they win by enough goals, they can move through. So Egypt either is going for a draw and they guarantee their move over, or they can't lose by more than a goal. Because if they lose by more than a goal, and if Dom Rep wins by 2, then they're in trouble. Uzbekistan is effectively eliminated as they can't catch Egypt for second place. They'd only be able to finish highest third. And then in Group D, we have Mali sitting in third place with one draw versus Israel. And they have Paraguay and Japan sitting on top of them. I think the interesting thing for Mali is this. Can they make it out of their group? I think it's very much a possibility. Unfortunately, they have a date with Paraguay. Paraguay has probably looked one of the better teams in that group. Japan has looked fine as well, but I think Paraguay is looking confident moving in. So it would require Mali to have a result. We need Mali to have their finishing shoes on the men's side to be able to have a chance to go through. So right now, again, Egypt and Morocco, our North African brethren, are feeling like they are in the driver's seat to move on to the knockout rounds, whereas Mali as well as Guinea have a little bit more of a uphill battle, but it's not out of the realms of possibility. We'll switch over to the women's side. Now on the women's side, it gets very interesting thanks to the results we had today. And we're going to start off in Group A. Now the big story with Group A is that Canada being deducted -6 points from what they had, giving them -3 getting to the weekend versus France. I think on paper, everyone assumed France would be able to get that win, thus eliminating Canada. And to the surprise of many, not the faithful Canadians apparently, Canada got away with a 2-1 win with a 103rd minute goal, 102nd minute goal by Vanessa Gilles to put Canada up and win the game, meaning Canada sits now with 0 points. But why is that important? If you look at Group A gets very fascinating because now that they are where they are, now we see that in Group A it is wide open because earlier in the day, Colombia beat New Zealand by a score of 2-0, meaning as the group stand, you have for points 2 teams with 3 and 2 teams with 0. Colombia with 3, France with 3, Canada and New Zealand with 0. Canada with 2 wins. It look a little wonky. looking good, but just the points deduction. So going to the final game against Colombia, Canada effectively a win and they are through. Because they would surpass Colombia, and assuming France beats New Zealand, they would finish in second. Canada would finish top 2 after having a 6 points deduction due to the drone scandal that's been enthralling them for a little bit. Now, when we look more into Group B, we have the US, Germany, Australia, and Zambia. I think that the game of the day for them today, this weekend, it has to be Australia versus Zambia. Zambia ran out to a 5-2 lead, but then Australia came back, winning ultimately 6-5. And with Zambia losing their first game 3-0 to the United States, Zambia's tournament is effectively over, but not quite. There is still hope. They would need to get a win, a large win versus Germany, and then hope for a large loss by Australia, who had fallen to Germany earlier as they play the United States. Germany getting a win and a loss to the United States, but then a win over Australia leaves things very interestingly. So you have Group B being with the US, who have 2 wins at 6 points, with Germany with 3, Australia with 3, and Zambia with none. And then Group C, another interesting, I know we want to highlight the African countries here as well. Nigeria, I think, has played 2 solid defensive games. Their scoring has let them down. Nigeria sits at the bottom of Group C, not fully eliminated, but needing a lot of help to make it through. Spain have a 2-1 win over Japan and a 1-0 win over Nigeria. And then Japan, my apologies, has a 2-1 loss to Spain, but then a 2-1 win over Brazil today. Brazil only with the 1 win. So in that group, you have Spain with 6, Japan with 3, and then Brazil with 3. Effectively, now we know that the US and Spain are through. For goal difference, I mean, right now you have the US leading with a +6 on the goal differential. But because the women's tournament is top 2 plus top 2 third place finishes, right now as it stands, you have Australia and Brazil in third place, but no one is out of it yet. Again, we mentioned where Canada would be if they beat Colombia, because they already have the goal differential. They would already be at a minimum +3. So even if Australia only lost and/or Germany lost, they would be ahead of those 2 teams. The same for the likes of, say, Japan and Brazil. So their last match is gonna work up to be a very interesting one, and I am looking forward to see what it is. Guys, let me know what you think about the football that's happening at the Olympics. Who've surprised you? What has disappointed you? And as always, I'm gonna stop talking right here.